Hey drummers, how's it going? It's Alex once again, bringing you some more fun-free drumming ideas. We've got a cheeky little number this week. What we're going to do is going to take a really basic beat, which you might have learnt in your sort of the beginning phase of your drumming journey, which would have been like ba 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 boom ba boom ba 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 boom ba boom, where your right hand's playing eighth notes on the hi-hat, or your left hand if you're left-handed, and then you're sort of playing snare, snare, snare kick together, snare, snare kick, snare kick. It's quite a basic beat, but what we're going to do is we're going to take that right hand and we're going to sort of play around with a slightly more complex ostinato, which I'm not going to lie, I've stolen from Juan Carlito Mendoza. I'm a big fan of his channel. I haven't asked him if I can use this, but I'm just going to go under the assumption that he's cool with it, because I am going to change it about a little bit, and I'm just spreading the love. So if you like what you saw in the intro and you want to give this one a crack, stick around and I'll break it down. Here we go. Right, so the basic beat in question, and I'm going to do a lot of like cross stick on this just to sort of keep the sound as dry as possible. The basic beat we're going to be sort of manipulating is going to be... Okay, quite popularly, probably heard more like... Alright, but it's that right hand that we're interested in, so we're going to try and keep, well, we're not going to try, we're going to keep the snare drums and the bass drums in exactly the same place. So we've got the snares going to beat 1, 2, 3 and 4. We're going to bring the bass drum in, this is kind of optional. We're going to bring the bass drum in on beat 1 of every bar, and then on the and of beat 3, and then the and of beat 4. It's quite simple when you're playing with just eighth notes on the hi-hat, because every time you're hitting a bass drum or a snare drum, it's going to land with that kick. When we start sort of exploring this new little sticking pattern idea, or this ostinato with the right hand, that's not going to be the case anymore, and that's where it starts getting a bit tricky, so we can start working a little bit on coordination, and it's going to take a little bit of time before we can play this up to speed and keep it clean, as you're about to witness when I try and demonstrate it a little bit later, no doubt. Right, so like I said, I'm going to keep it cross stick for now. What we'll do is we'll ignore the foot, we're just going to learn the hand pattern, and what we're going to do is we're just going to go up to beat 3, okay, because it's good to count it, but then it's a little bit easier to then sort of work out what your hands are doing, whether it's like they're playing together, or it's a right hand or a left hand. So we'll go through that. If we're counting it, up to beat 3, it's going to be 1 and a 2E, a 3. Okay, so we've got a snare drum or a cross stick on the start of each beat. So that's always going to be there. Sometimes the hi-hat's going to land with it, but on beat 2 in particular, it's not. So here we go. So beat 1, we've got 1 and a. For beat 2, we've got 2E, okay, so just the snare on beat 2, the hi-hat on the E, and then when we get to the, we're going to ignore the and of beat 2, but then we're going to play on the of beat 2, and then everything, well, I say everything, both snare and hi-hat together on beat 3. So we've got together, right, right, left, right, right, together. So let's try it a little bit faster. If you want, just put that in a little extra hi-hat to count for beat 4. So we've got 1 and a 2E, a 3, 4. 1 and a 2E, a 3, 4. Okay, so it's together, right, right, left, right, right, together, right, together, right, right, left, right, right, together, right for beat 4. Okay, so that's the first part. When we get to beat 3 is quite nice and easy. That's just going to be together for beat 3, and then we're just going to hit the hi-hat on the and of beat 3. So it's going to be 3 and then when we get to beat 4, this is probably the busiest one with the right hand. We're going to play 4E and then the of beat 4. So we get this 4E, and that's going to sort of then link back round to the beginning, where you're going to get that little, to sort of bring it all together. If we now go through beats 1 to 4, just the hands. 1 and a 2E, a 3 and 4E, or 1 and a 2E, a 3 and 4E, or 1 and a 2E, a 3 and 4E, or 1. If you wanted to, just try and get used to it, because I sort of live by the philosophy of if you can say it, you can play it. Just clap your hands for the beat. So 1 and a 2E, a 3 and 4E, or 1 and a 2E, a 3 and 4E, or 1. And you can kind of create like a bit of a melody. Alright, so now we've got the hands sorted, here comes the tricky part, and that's going to be inserting the foot. So we're going to put the bass drum on beat 1, okay, so that's going to land with both the snare and the hi-hat, and then it's going to be on the and of beat 3. Now that's going to land with the hi-hat as well, because we're playing, because beat 3 is going to be 3 and, so that's nice and easy. It's beat 4 that's a tricky one, and then getting back round to beat 1. So all we need to do, nothing really changes for the first part until you get to beat 3. So we've got 3 and 4E and a 1. All right, so that's a nasty bit. If you want to just practice from beat 4 onwards, it's going to be together with the hands, right hand on its own, kick on its own, right on its own again, and then you're going to land with everything at the same time. So you get this. That little phrase there is the bit that's going to sort of make you slip up a little bit when you first start getting used to it. Or in my case, still does. So if we go through the whole thing, I'll go through as slowly as possible, and I'll see if I can count it. So we've got 1 and a 2E, a 3 and 4E, and a 1 and a 2E, a 3 and 4E, and a 1 and a 2E, a 3 and 4E, and a 1 and a 2E, a 3 and 4E, and a 1. It's hard to play and say that at the same time. Let's just, I'm going to loop it round, but shut up a little bit. A bit faster. And that's the main thing. So once you've got that down, which is going to take a little bit of time just until the muscle memory kicks in and takes over, what you want to then try and do is practice going from back and forth. Oh. And again, that's really hard. So your brain has to switch to a different gear to try and get that little hand pattern in. It's going to take a little bit of time. As you can see, I've only been working on this for a little while, but it was such a fun little idea that I thought I'd share it quicker than I probably should have done. So let's try that again, just from my own personal sense of pride. So here we go. That's better. Okay, so I'm still feeling a little bit of friction when it comes to that beat 4, but I like that because it tells me that I've got something to work on. All right, so what we do now is we're just going to bring the volume up a tiny bit. So instead of cross sticking, we're going to use the snare drum, and then we're just going to sort of, well, we'll get this little beat going. Just going to turn it down a bit here. So here we go. So we've got. So we'll get that going, and then when it comes to playing the pattern, I'm just going to move my right hand up to the bell so we can get that little ostinato to pop out a tiny bit. So we're going to get something like this. So if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're playing that beat, ba, 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 boom, ba, and it gets a little bit louder, you've got that option just to sort of, snazz it up a tiny bit by chucking your right hand over there. But I wouldn't necessarily use it just yet until you're nice and comfortable with it. I'm certainly not using it yet, but give it a bit of time and I'm going to find a way of forcing it into the band practice. You can also do exactly the same thing on the floor tom, and it sounds quite effective. So let's just start off with the normal groove. And that sounds quite nice. Obviously, let's turn this back up a bit. You're not going to get quite as much bounce off of the floor tom, so that does make it a little bit more of a challenge. But again, it just shows you that you can, just once you've got one pattern down somewhere, you can start chucking it around the kit to make it suit what you're playing or the context that you're drumming within. So all I'll do is I'll just pop up there and I'll play everything at a few different speeds. I'll start off with the cross stick on the hi-hat, like I did earlier, and then I'll just show you a few examples where you can go from like the ride cymbal, playing a little bit more, loud and proud, and then transition over to the floor tom. So if you've got like a breakdown of a song where you want to, just mix things up a tiny bit, you've got that option as well. Sound like the door closed. Anyway, I'll pop up there and I'll start jamming this out at a few different speeds. Here we go. All right, so let's just play the pattern nice and slowly with everything in it. So here we go. Right, let's get that a little bit faster. Let's chuck it into some context, nice and slow. On the floor, Tom. Cool, so there it is, drummers. I hope you enjoyed that lesson. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to pop over to alexribchesterdrums.com where you can go and grab the sheet music completely for free. While you're over there, do check out the sponsorship program. You can sign up for £5 a month. You get additional lessons, along with obviously all the sheet music. We've now got the Quick Start Guide, and that's slowly growing. So we're sort of moving on to Quick Start Guide Part 2. So we're starting to bridge that gap between beginner and intermediate. But we're also chucking up some, some cool little concepts, some new drum fills, some new drum beats and stuff like that. You can also sign up for a whole year, so you save yourself like an extra $10 or €10 or £10. So there's a couple of months for free. So go and check it out. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you very soon for some more fun-free drumming ideas. All right, see you later. Bye.